Hi, I'm Lou, and soon I'm going to be installing a shower right here behind this wall. In the end, I want it to look something like this. As you can see, this toilet is in the way. So today I'm going to show you how to move a toilet from one side of the room to the other. It's a little complicated because this is a concrete floor below us. So we're going to have to use a concrete saw. Let's first start by removing all the decor out of the room so it doesn't get dusty. The current toilet drain comes from under the toilet and goes along under these tiles over to the drain out of the house. What we're going to do is take out this tile and all these other tiles all the way to this side of the room where I'm going to put the new toilet here. The way to do that is I'm going to use this concrete saw to saw out the grout lines, and also I've got a dust collector up there piped to the other room. I'm going to connect this flexible hose to it so that I can pick up as much dust as I can. What I can't pick up, I'm going to try to filter by wearing this mask. Also, these angle grinders are very loud, so hearing protection is good. And then, of course, if there's any chips flying, you want eye protection as well. What I refer to as a concrete saw is really an angle grinder with a 7 1/4 inch diamond tipped blade. Great for cutting tile, concrete, all that kind of stuff. Now that we have the bare basement floor along where we want to go, I'm going to cut about a 4-inch wide channel in the concrete to make room for the new PVC pipe. If there was any question that this is a dusty job, let's lay that to rest here. Very dusty. Now that some channels are cut in that concrete, I actually made it about 6 inches wide, just so I'd have more room to play with. The next step is to take a good old-fashioned sledgehammer and pound out that middle piece, break it up and take it out. You're making progress when you hit this plastic barrier at the bottom right above the pea gravel. A great way to pick up small rocks is with the just standard shop vac. That picks those up and allows you to see what you really have to do next. A screwdriver and hammer are also a good way to get out some of the chunks so you don't have to use the sledgehammer so much. That's a lot of work. Trench is dug out completely. We are down to the plastic. We cut that open with a triangle knife or utility knife to reveal what should be pea gravel below. Now we're going to dig in that and find, sure enough, there it is. That's the PVC pipe that goes to this toilet over here. So we're going to have to dig in and find that, and then we're going to cut it off and put an elbow on that. We're going to need to get a lot of this pea gravel out of here to make room for the new pipe and elbow. We'll just use a cup to do that. I was originally planning on putting an elbow there, but I think I might have to put a T because I think that pipe feeds both the toilet, the old location, which I won't need anymore, but also the sink. I took out a little more pea gravel and concrete so we can have more room to work and see. So what we need to do here is continue the water, keep the water going where it is now, and then add a pipe going this way to the toilet over there, and over here I want to add a inlet for a shower. So we'll do that with this piece, and then I need an adapter that's a 2-inch, adapt it down to 1.5 inches, and then elbow off, and that's going to go to the shower. Because this is a tight fit, we actually need a rubber connector to put it all in. Everything is marked and ready to cut. I'm going to try to use this reciprocating saw with a really long blade. And there it is. Next I'm going to glue this piece onto there. Put this all-purpose cement on this side. Also on this side. Just stick it on. Twist a little bit as you put it on. It dries quickly, so make sure it's lined up with where you want to go down there. There, it's pretty much set already. That's quick. Okay, next, this piece is going to go in here, and then glue in that way. And this is going to be on there to keep it tight in the end. Sorry, my battery ran out on my video recorder before I got to show putting on the rubber coupling, and I needed to get this done so my family could get back in the water business. Anyway, this is all on now, and just for precaution, since this is going to be underground, I'm going to take some caulking, just regular siliconized caulk. I've got a makeshift glove here, an old bag, and I'm going to smear it all over this metal just to hope that it doesn't rust over the years. Okay, that's done. That was probably overkill, but it's going to be down in water, so I figured why not. So next we're going to need to cut a piece of 3-inch PVC to go from this all the way over to that street elbow, and then we'll connect that to the toilet flange, and then we can start filling this all back in. In case you're wondering what that water is, it rained really heavily this morning, and that's just seepage from the drain tile out there. I'll go ahead and put the street elbow on first. It'll be harder to do once it's down in the hole. That's set up already. And then I'll stick this down in there. Here goes the flange. And your toilet's going to bolt in right there and there, so put that to the sides. About like that. Now I'm going to stub off a pipe for the shower. Here it is. I got duct tape on that end. Shower's going to be down there. We'll put a street elbow. Oh, too much there. Oh well. Street elbow on this end. So Then put reducer next, because it's going to go to the bigger size pipe, 2-inch pipe. There's the reducer. Then put the reducer in to the hole where it's going finally, down to the drain. And there's our shower drain. Well, stub for a shower drain eventually. Our plumbing is all done now, and I covered that with duct tape just to make sure we don't get dirt in it. It's time to button it back up. We'll start by pouring in pea gravel. Okay, the pea gravel's all in. I put a foam block down there because I don't want to put concrete on that end. I'm going to add the shower later. But the rest of the pea gravel's in all the way down here. Now we just need to get some concrete mix, put it in the bucket, add water, and stir. We want it pretty soupy. I think I made my batch a little too soupy, but that's alright. Make the next one drier. Kind of like it comes out of a concrete truck. But anyway, in it goes. Okay, there it all is. The concrete is in. Just filled it up. And when you're done, you want to get it just even or slightly below the edge of the concrete that was there already. Use that as a guide. Just kind of float it out so it's nice and smooth. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just going to put tile on top of this, but you don't want it to hump up above the outside concrete, or else the tile will not go on well. Well, we have to wait for this to dry. The concrete has dried overnight. And now I'm going to clean up all this rubble. It's time to start laying tile back in. On this end, I chipped out this last little piece of it here. I got a new piece of tile, and I need to put it in here, but cut out a hole for the toilet flange. Looks like it's 7 inches wide. Put this in place. Line that up with where it's supposed to go. And measure 7 inches. So the end of my flange is there. It's going to look something like this. It doesn't have to be perfect because the toilet's going to come out to here and cover this, but we just want to make sure that we have this area cut out so that the tile won't be on top of the flange. And the way we're going to do that is over here on this tile saw. Much like the angle grinder, it has a diamond blade here. And this can be a wet or dry saw. There's a little tank underneath you can put water in, but I'm choosing to use my dust collector pipe and do it dry. Be sure to use eye protection and hearing protection. It's loud and it throws chips. Okay, I got my second tile cut around the toilet flange. Next we need to take some tile mortar to stick it down, and I've got some in the bucket here, partially mixed with water. It's kind of a dry dust. You mix it with water. You want to end up with the consistency of mashed potatoes. Next we're going to slop some of these mashed potatoes onto the floor and spread it out. Maybe get rid of some of the lumps as you go. With that all smoothed out, now we want to take a combing trowel, 1/4 by 1/4 holes, and just comb this all over. The objective is to get a nice cornfield look like that. Next, you simply drop your tiles in place. Kind of squish them in so that they're the same level as the tiles next to them. These little plus signs, plastic plus signs, you can get at the hardware store if you want to line them up. It's really better for a bigger tile job. For this small one, you can just use the tiles next to it to show you where to put them. Just drop all these guys right in place. Make sure they're kind of wiggle them a little bit, make sure they're down well, and like I said, even with the next tiles. And then we will have to use a screwdriver and kind of clean out this extra grout. I got too much. We'll clean that out to make, or not grout, this is mortar. Clean out mortar and make room for grout later. So the mortar's dried overnight and our tiles are now solid in place. Before we grout, I'd like to go in and just take the toilet out and replace this tile as well. Patch the hole and replace that, and maybe that one as well. So let's start by taking the toilet out. Do that by turning off the water and flushing the toilet. And you want to get as much water out of the tank as you can. Then we're going to move it. In the meantime, you can pull off the plastic cap, and there's a bolt that's actually in my stud actually broke off, so I don't have one on this side, but you just unbolt that, and then this toilet is ready. On both sides you take those off, and then this toilet is ready to lift off. And I'd recommend putting down a piece of plastic so you can park the toilet there while you're working. Now we'll disconnect our water supply with a crescent wrench. You can expect to have some water. Now it's time to pick up the toilet and set it on your plastic. Underneath the toilet we're left the flange and a wax ring. Let's get rid of that. Next we need to get this flange off below the level of the concrete so we can lay in another tile to cover this hole. I can't pull this flange out because it's glued in. I'm going to have to cut around the outside edge with a Dremel. I've got a little saw blade tip on it. Sorry that happened off camera, but I applied enough pressure and eventually this guy broke loose and came out, which is what we want. Now we need to remove this tile because we're going to put a brand new one in. Let's put anything just to kind of cork that hole so we don't get tile pieces down in the sewer system. But off these pieces come. There's probably a proper piece of PVC to cork this, but since this is going to be soon covered in concrete anyway, I don't really care. I'll just slop this old peanut butter jar up with some PVC cement, stuff it in there. That should be good enough. Then we'll go ahead and rip the top of the peanut butter jar out with a Dremel. Pour a little bit of pea gravel in there to save some space. Mix up another batch of mortar. Drop it in our hole. And lay in our new tile. Behind this wall, there's about a 3 foot by 3 foot alcove in the concrete that has been unused up till now. We want to rip into this wall, carve it out, and tile a shower in there.